Okay, Thursday morning in the kingdom and it warmed up. Yes, all these lies, the sun dogs, the weather channel, everything said it was supposed to be chilly willy, and then it warmed up. So this morning we woke up to minus 20 Celsius, but feels like minus 23. Oh, it's so warm out here. And then on the yo-yo scale, lame ass minus 4 Fahrenheit, but feels like minus 9 Fahrenheit. So much for winter here at the end of the world. All right. So this morning, we're going to try to fix that heater. I was misinformed. That's an air pump on the back, but oh well. Everybody caught that I made a mistake again for the first time in my life. But we're going to, I watched YouTube videos last night. So I think we're going to just buff it up and get it to, work again, hopefully. And I have to fill out those forms again this morning. I guess they didn't like my answers. Yes. So, oh yes. Living now outside of WHO-ville like the Grinch. Of course I have mental problems. Yeah. Oh well. But then remember, the people of WHO-ville have hated me for close to 30 years. Just like the people of WHO-ville hated the Grinch. Yes. And then you wonder why we kind of act funny. Yes. And stand here wearing Grinch gloves. Yeah. All right. And it was supposed to be cold. See, I wrote it all down. My memory is short at my age. All right, so let's back up. See if the me phone will like it out here. All right. We still got some coldness. The sun is coming up over there in the south. And look at that. And Jack was hanging around yesterday eating the dog food out of the pens and stuff because he has to eat too, and it's cold. All right, so there we go. We got the wood stoves going, the usual yada 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 smoke or whatever for the Swedish kid. Look at that, straight up. So the wind generators won't be working today again. That's almost a week with no wind. That's the way it should be. Yes, that's the way it should be. And those splashing the red paint around sure does look good, even for the colorblind guy. All right, let's get the me phone back in where it's warm. All right, let's go walk the dogs. Oh, here comes the boss. We better get to work.
Thursday morning in WHO-ville, just after 9 a.m. and as you can see we have a nice little sunrise. There is a few clouds out and it's not as cold as it was the last couple days. Hopefully we get some warm days here and then we can do a few things in the kingdom. Now let's head inside, let the dogs out and make breakfast. Then at 10 a.m. I'm going to head up and get some milk, and then at 1 I'll go over to the kingdom.
Okay, last night instead of watching movies with boobies, I was watching videos on this. And this heater is totally different than most. Most have a lot of bolts around in here. This one only has 2, so there's no adjustment, because in the videos that they show with the 6 bolts, I think it is, you lift it up, turn it, and put the feeler gauge in there to get adjustment. There is no adjustment, but I've got the feeler gauge out. I got my Scotch-Brite pads for buffing everything, and it's working out good. And also too, I took this apart. There's a ball and spring behind here, and I made sure that the ball wasn't shoved into the spring, because that's what happens when it gets over tightened. And we talked with the staff, and there might be 10 hours on this thing, and that's all just to start a skidoo or the quad. So that's it. So this thing's like new and doesn't work. It's so sad, but oh well. We'll continue the quest. And like, I spent another hour filling out that form, and hopefully they got it right. But then again, if I was to pay the accountant to do it, the accountant would screw it up, and then I'd have to work to pay the accountant. So if I just pay myself to screw it up, so 3 hours in 3 days, that's pretty good. That's the way I do mathematics. Yes, Sesame Street mathematics. Okay, lunchtime in the kingdom, and you can hear the diesel heater outside running. I ended up spraying WD-40 in back there and onto the propellers, or the vanes as they call it, as it was spinning around, and slowly tightened the screws so the little black pieces and everything got happy together. When you screw it together or tighten the back piece on as a unit, nobody's happy. All right, so it's been sitting out here for almost half an hour. It's running away. It sounds about right. It's got some noise at the back, but who cares? As long as the staff can get her machines going, she's good to go. Okay, I shut it off to carry it inside, and it's not happy. That means the little vanes have locked up again. See that? Yeah, it's not happy. Oh well. Okay, late lunch, I dragged this piece of crap heater in. Yes, Mr. Useless heater in. Tossed them on the workbench, and the propeller wouldn't spin. Yes. So as soon as you tighten up the backing plate against the little vanes or propeller body, it don't spin. So off to the house, get your valve grinding compound, put it on the back plate, plug it in, let it spin, tighten it up slowly, stop it, clean everything really well. Yes, with the brake clean and WD-40 everything. Now it spins. So when I turn it off, it keeps on spinning. It wasn't like a dynamic brake on the useless wind generators. All right, turn it on. There we go. Turn it off. Oh, okay. Turn it off. Look at that. It's still spinning. Other times it would just lock right up. So then after lunch, we'll do a cold weather test outside. And then the staff can take this home.
12 p.m. and I'm just getting ready to make lunch. Today I'll be having good old KD. Hopefully this box is not mushy. 1 out of 10 always is. The noodles just don't cook right, or the craft dinner mix has a taste to it. Now let's head inside and make lunch. It is actually pretty nice out here right now. Almost 1 p.m. and I'm just finishing up lunch and fed the dogs. I got the Yamaha out. Now I'll head over to the kingdom and see what we're doing this afternoon. Pretty sure it's going to be an easy afternoon with just a little bit of firewood. My knee is extra sore. I'm not sure what happened. I think it could be the weather changing. Now let's head over to the kingdom. Made it to the kingdom. It looks like I'll be taking the quad home today with the skidoo. I'll just tow the skidoo behind the quad when I'm done in the kingdom here. My dad also fixed a little Mr. Heater. Hopefully that works as well. We looked over the quad and there's nothing wrong with it. I think it was just too cold. I also bring the battery inside, so it wasn't a battery problem. The battery was nice and warm. The machine was just cold. Now let's head down to the shop and do some firewood. Down at the shop, and it looks like my dad has Mr. Heater running. It is nice and warm. Not sure what the problem is. Pretty sure he did a little video explaining what happened. I will be taking this home with me, and then if the quad doesn't start, I can put the heater under and hopefully it'll work. Got the quad out. Now I'll take the pails and the wagon in behind the house to the long trailer. My knee is pretty sore, so I can't bend down at the wood pile to fill up the pails. We don't need that much firewood. While I'm doing that, my dad's going to cut up some timbers. 1:30. It didn't take me very long to fill the pails and the wagon. There was 4 pails. 2 of them were for the house, so I already brought them up there. 1 is for the shop and the host shack, and then the wagon will be parked at the host shack as well. Now let's head back around and drop everything off. Made it back around to the shop and the host shack, put all the pails away. Now I'll hook the quad up to the Yamaha. That way I can tow it home, since if the quad won't start, I'll have the Yamaha and I can still get places and do things. Almost 2 p.m. We just got everything hooked up. Now I'll make my way back into WHO-ville. I got the diesel heater on the top plus the air tank. That way I can air up the tires. Now let's head into WHO-ville and put the skidoo away, and then I can go check the mail with the quad.
Okay, there goes the staff heading back into WHO-ville. Yes, she's independent. She handles it all herself. All right, that's the way we tow the Yamaha, because the Yamaha was bought because the transmission goes into neutral. Yes, you don't have to take the belt off. All right, there she goes. She's having fun. Well, kind of, maybe. Not sure what she's doing. Oh, level the screen.
Made it back from the kingdom, no problem. Was a slow ride, but I got it. Good thing we have these tow cables for the Yamaha. Now I'll put it away and then head into WHO-ville and go check the mail. Not sure if you guys know, but I park my skidoos in there, and then my quad has its own shed.
Okay, on these wooden freighting sleighs back in the day, this top bunk here, which we replaced with 6-inch H-beam, would have been wood. All right, so we've been cutting up the rotten wood. So over here is what they had for wood. This is a bunk swivel. Okay, so the sleigh deck would sit on here. This thing's laying on its side, and the deck would, I would say, keep from falling off with these U clamps or L clamps. Yes, so this one's well worn. You can see the pivot pin there just kept going down and down. So look at this one here. Okay, that is painted the Sherrod Gordon orange because Patricia Transport had the sleighs and the Lynn's and everything like that. So that's that orange paint. I remember it well because it's a different shade of gray. But we can see how good a quality this oak swivel beam bunk was. So look at that. That was a nice tree at one time. But see what happens is when they bolt these L brackets on, the bolt holes rusted out or rotted out. Rust, rot, same thing. All right, let's get this stuff in the shop because that's going to keep us warm for a couple of days, and then we can finish up and have coffee. Okay, just about coffee time, and I'm using the Sawzall there with the gifted Princess Auto pruning blades. Yes, I guess I am pruning my trees, but they're in, how would you say, horizontal position. Yes, and we got some firewood for the house. Oh, that'll be nice and warm in the house in the bedroom. All right, let's have a quick coffee, and then we can get back to work. Okay, it's 4:30 or just past 4:30, and I have really nothing to show for today. But no, we saved money. Yes, we fixed the heater. Okay, and I priced out those heaters last night. That heater is about $500 Canadian Tire, and then you add the taxes and the shipping up here, it'd probably be $700, and then there's no quality in it. So we will be buying Chinese heaters. Plus, I also saved time and money by figuring out those forms myself and screwing it up, because I didn't have to pay an accountant to screw it up. All right, so I got all my wood split and everything like that. But also, too, you have to remember we're cleaning up a mess. I've always said a long time ago there was $30,000 to clean up all those core boxes and the mess that was left in the money, plus the money they owe me. But now, sitting here looking at it 7 years later, I think it's probably close to $80,000 to clean up this mess because of the costs and everything. If we were to haul all those core boxes to the dump or dispose of them that way, it would be very pricey. So, how would you say, using the rocks as backfill around the kingdom or as a heat source around the wood stove, and the rocks pushing on the barrel, kind of kink it up there, did a little kinky like in the bedroom, but that's okay. If we get 2 years out of that barrel or 3 years, we're happy, because that's all you can get out of a barrel, because they don't make thick barrels anymore. So cleaning up and, how would you say, heating the shop with this stuff works out good. So when the wood was cold, I brought it all in, and I'm hoping for just a production day tomorrow working on the collectibles. Yes, and look at how bad the door is getting over there. All right, so I took the wire wheel and I buffed up this thing here. Plus, I took a picture of it, and the picture will be after this video. So if you want to zoom in and count the lines, please do. So this was a pretty impressive tree. It wasn't growing around here, that's for sure. It had to come from BC. Yes, British Columbia. Bring cash. Yeah. So there we go. So that's a big tree. So we don't know how many big timbers and how much wood they got out of that tree, but it's pretty impressive. All right, so now we can, how would you say, split this one. And then we're going to move the 48 back a bit and get working. So just like having a real job, you work till 5, get home, and then you work on your hot rods. That's the way it seems to be in the kingdom. But today was a good day. We saved money. Doesn't look like we saved money, but we did. We got it done. We got it fixed. And the staff has 2, how would you say, motorized contraptions at her house. So if one doesn't start, she has a means of getting around. Yes, so you got to do the shopping, the mail, and take care of me.
5 p.m. and this is the temperature we're sitting at right now. It's minus 16 degrees Celsius, which is 3 degrees Fahrenheit. We even had the feels like on the bottom. It was pretty nice in the kingdom today. Hopefully it warms up the next few days. Now let's head inside, let the dogs out, make supper, and end my day.
Okay, now it's after 5 o'clock. Now we can work on hot rods. Yes, we did our real job. Yes, now we can work on hot rods. We did this 40 years ago in 1985. We're working on the 37 Dodge hot rod. Yes, so work till 5 o'clock and then you work on your hot rods. Yes. So over here, when we got this car, it had been in the body shop, for 5 years. Everything was taped over and everything, and then it was in storage for 32 years, okay? So to get it out of my dad's or my parents' estate or whatever, or acreage, because dad passed away in 2010, it was 2015 this vehicle came north. So what they did was toss the fenders on and the hood on for the travel up here, and then I had the jigsaw puzzle to figure out how the grill went on, how the headlights, everything was taken apart and stuffed in the back. So we got this thing up and running with no fenders. Yes, that seems to be our trademark. Drive around with no fenders and wave at the ladies, because that's the only way you can do it, all right? So back in the day, this thing would have a 6-volt battery, and we also got rid of the original heater. It's in the storage shed. So when you buy Trader 7 at my estate sale, maybe whoever gets the 48 Chevy sedan delivery, be nice enough to hand them over the original heater, okay? So that's the battery was down in here, okay? So we knew nothing of these fenders. Everything was for trying to figure it out. So I knew that that bracketry down there was part of the original battery tray for 6 volts. So I put that on going this way so we could drive around and wave at the ladies. So now we're going to see if we can turn it this way to get the battery going that way. Yes, are you confused? If you are, have a drink. Yes, I wish I could. So that now will give us access. We're going to take all these heavy duty DA Caterpillar 24 volt battery cables off and put like a 2 gauge on. So that way it's easier to work with, because wrestling with these dry, how would you say, underground mining equipment cables are pretty tough. Like this thing is, I don't know, stiff and old and everything. It should go back on the cats, yes, not on the old 48 Chevy sedan delivery. And I think we got some little bit of black paint, so maybe if I get that tray out, give this down a little blow down or whatever, and maybe splash some paint, because see it's starting to rust. Any little paint is protection, but that's the way we got to do it. All right, let's get to work. The boss will be pleased because we're actually working on overtime. Okay, 6 o'clock in the kingdom, and what we did back in 2015, that was what, 10 years ago? It was unreal. But also too, that's a good quality master switch. And by the part number, I would say that's Caterpillar. Yes, Caterpillar. So it's a good master switch back in the day. And look at these cables. Look at that. Yeah, come from underground mining equipment. What, 40 years later, probably 50 years later, still strong. But we're going to get rid of those. We're going to make some updates and improvements. I think if we take and plasma cut this off, turn it on the bracketry, and the battery will fit. We have to run these small batteries, okay? And we splash the paint everywhere. Yes, because we got some flat black from Sir Rodney. Most likely it was the only thing on the shelf when he went shopping, but how would you say, we splashed it on. So that'll, how would you say, this is protection. So we got it down in there, wanged it everywhere. But also too, I grew up in the hot rod world. We spent 5 summers in Northern Manitoba at Mason's Auto Body, hand sanding this vehicle. We'd go down there for holidays and we'd work on this vehicle and hand sand. So you spray paint or primer it, sand it, primer it again. And then Dad brought it home after 5 years at the body shop. It was still in primer, all taped up. And then he spent 32 years in storage, and he spent a lifetime basically hiding this thing from the rain. When he moved from the pink house in Alexander to the acreage south of Kemney, there was big drama moving this because it couldn't get wet. It had to be in the shop right away, from one shop to the other shop. And then he bought a shipping container, spent $5,000 on a shipping container to put this thing inside. Yes. So the first thing it did when it arrived here, we painted it. Yeah, we got the gloss black out, the paint roller, and gave her. The first thing we did. So the family was upset that we ruined it. Well, 32 years, it could have been painted properly. The money Dad spent on a shipping container, he could have put it towards this thing and had it on the road. We were up and on the road in 3 weeks, $3,000. That's it. New tires, new brakes, new everything. And we're up and going and having fun. So Dad could have got it on the road and having fun, but no, he decided to spend his money foolishly and buy more projects, 250 projects, and he never finished any of them. But then again, he did finish 2 projects. He had the sister and me. All right, let's go check on the flags. Okay, it sure has warmed up out here. Yes, it was supposed to be cold, frigid, cold by the weekend. Oh, Arctic chill, all that. All lies, like my marriage. But we sure are glad we listened to the YouTube subscribers, Kingdom followers, and suggest we put the KOO everywhere and splash that red paint, because that red paint would have just gone dry in the can. It's looking good. Look at the flags over there. They're in their natural state of being limp. Yes. All right, let's go quickly walk the dogs, make a video, and I can relax. Maybe I'll watch a movie with boobies, because I won't have to, how would you say, search these diesel heaters and stuff. Oh my. Talk to you later.